person who is politicizing this is Donald Trump. He's the one guy doing it. The Doge of it all was essentially all the things that the federal government is spending money on for the most part is waste and fraud.
But now I want to show you 3 videos. And these are everyone loves these videos. It's just comparing and contrasting how media treats natural disasters when it's a Democrat versus when it's a Republican. So you're going to see 2024 coverage. We'll start with CNN's Abby Phillip, her feelings about Hurricane Helene in 2024 when Joe Biden was president versus this Texas flood in 2025 when Donald Trump is. We have 3 versions of these. We'll start with CNN.
Why does Donald Trump continue to insist on politicizing a storm? The only person making an accusation that people are not getting what they've asked for is Trump. The only person who is politicizing this is Donald Trump. He's the one guy doing it. The Doge of it all was essentially all the things that the federal government is spending money on for the most part is waste and fraud. But clearly, there are some things where spending money saves lives. And it may not save lives in the moment that you spend it, but at some point, somebody's life, somebody's child could have been saved.
So let me get this straight, Abby Phillips. When Joe Biden was president, the issue was that Donald Trump was politicizing it because he was trying to get those people more help. And we actually do know that the Biden administration did not do much. And now that Donald Trump is president, you can politicize it in the middle of it because this has something to do with Doge. And again, we're going to get to the staffing issue in just a second, in case you're watching her going, well, maybe she's Abby Phillips over on CNN and she went to Harvard. She knows what she's doing. Maybe there is a staffing issue. We'll clean that up. Let's continue.
Adding to all of that chaos, all of that concern, is politics and the rampant disinformation that's being peddled by Donald Trump and some Republicans, politicizing a natural disaster, what FEMA is warning about. There's been so much doubt sown into it that people no longer trust, the NBC Newses, the MSNBCs, et cetera, of the world. Instead, they trust a person that they see on their social media feed. There are also questions about cuts to critical systems like the National Weather Service, which handles forecasting. Did those cuts hurt the response time or the ability of officials to coordinate?
Okay, Katy Tur. So in 2024, you guys get it. She didn't want it to be politicized. She wants people to trust her and not people on social media. Now she's allowed to ask some questions about the funding of these things. And again, we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's show you one more. It's my favorite chick over on CNN, Dana.
Why is he spreading misinformation in a crisis like that? And does that concern you about your fellow North Carolinians?
You have migrants being housed in luxury hotels in New York City. We have paid so much money from our tax dollars into the crisis that didn't need to happen. We could redirect money to help people immediately on the ground in North Carolina.
Laura, they're saying
Florida,
that they have
probably going to have a situation coming up in the next several days.
That's a separate tranche of money. That's a separate tranche of money. Just talking about the federal government and even the local government, 2 Texas National Weather Service offices involved in forecasting and warning about flooding on the Guadalupe River are missing some key staff members. A director of the NWS union told CNN that the Austin San Antonio office is missing a warning coordination meteorologist due to the Trump administration's buyouts.
All right, so you get it. Again, 2024, North Carolina, Biden's in charge. We're going to go after Trump for spreading misinformation. It's a different tranche of money to help the people in North Carolina while we're putting up these people in luxury hotels. Nonsense. And now suddenly she's very concerned because what they want you to think is that Donald Trump did something that led to this. So the implication there is that there wasn't proper staffing with the weather service in that area, and they weren't warning about what might happen with this river, et cetera, et cetera. Well, ironically, or not ironically, I guess obviously, this is according to the AP, which is no friendly to Donald Trump. Weather Service had extra staffers. That's right. The National Weather Service office in New Braunfels, which delivers forecasts for Austin, San Antonio, and the surrounding areas, had extra staff on duty during the storms, Runyon said. Where the office would typically have 2 forecasters on duty during clear weather, they had up to 5 on staff. There were extra people in here that night, and that's typical in every weather service office. You staff up for an event and bring people in overtime and hold people over. So they had extra staffing. That's according to the New York to the AP. Do you think the AP wants to run a headline that's friendly to Donald Trump? But why is it that we were just able to very quickly and easily find videos online of CNN, MSNBC, et cetera, saying that this is a staffing issue and it's a cutting issue when clearly it wasn't? And I would even go a step further than that. Whether they were staffed properly, whether they had 2 people or 5 people or 9 people or anything else, doesn't mean you can stop natural disasters. Again, the hope is you've put in the proper systems in place to mitigate the damage, to have early warning and everything else, but bad things are going to happen one way or another. And I would hope that if all of this was reversed and there was a Democrat in charge, that I would not be immediately blaming them for everything unless it had become patently obvious that everyone in their administration was hired for the wrong reasons. And that you actually can make a legitimate claim on with the Biden administration, because they hired people repeatedly based on their gender and their skin color and their genitals and their sexual attraction and a whole bunch of other stuff rather than their qualifications. So that really is the issue here.